welcome everyone. And of course, I'm Brahmachari Jamal, joined with Brahmachari Primdas. Both of us here today are going to share Master's teachings. And so I request Primdas to share the screen or share his screen, and I'll just give an overview of what we will speak about. So I'm just going to read this because I find it a little funny, but so true. After school days, the days of exercise are usually over, and the days of overeating and its resultant sickness begin. Many people do not realize that uniform health depends on proper eating, fasting, proper exercise, fresh air and sunbaths, good thoughts and cheerfulness, less eating, conservation of vital energy by self-control, proper elimination, and calm meditation. So, okay, Ramdas, you can take that away. So we will talk about most of these, hopefully all of them, this evening. That is the plan. And so I will start, let's see which one. I'm going to start with proper eating. Master, of course, had the word proper eatarian, that he didn't want any of us to become too fanatic, that I'm this kind of, I only eat fruit, or I only eat this or that. And he also made that word proper eatarian because it's different. Different people require different things to eat. And also as we age, as we grow spiritually, we just have different requirements. For example, it's fine for children to eat many carbohydrates. They run around all crazy and they're burning those, and it's just fine. But if we're sitting at an office all day long, just typing away at our laptop and not really moving, we require less. And of course, there's everything in between. I want to stick to the most important things on each one of these little topics. I would suggest really figuring out what Master said about proper diet. There's plenty of good books. I'll leave that for you to figure out which direction you'll go to figure out what Master said about diet. But let's do the opposite of that. If you decide that you'll just go figure it out yourself on the internet, I might be seeing you 5 incarnations later because your head is going to spin about what is proper diet if you try to figure it out from the internet. That's an impossible task. But Master already laid it all out, and he gave us exactly what we should eat and how much and all of that. So I highly recommend finding and studying his teachings on that. And then the other point, of all those points that we laid out there on the screen when we shared it, it is very easy to become fanatical about just one of them and think, okay, if I just make my diet perfect, then my body's going to be very healthy, and then I'll be a great yogi, and I'll learn how to be a person of perfect self-control. And there's many other ways to learn how to be a person of self-control as well. In pranayama, we're going to talk about controlling life force and sexual fluid in a little bit, controlling our mind, controlling our energy. So don't get fanatical about any of these. I've seen a lot of people over the years, and even myself, I fell in that trap for a little while of, I just really wanted to control food. And so find a balance to that of, yes, control it. It's part of the spiritual path, and make good decisions, but also don't be fanatical. And then maybe a final point on the proper diet or proper eating is, well, now I just forgot that proper point or that last point, but let's see what Master wants me to say here. Well, I will say that it definitely does have an effect on our meditations, and I'll bring it back to the topic of keeping the body fit for God realization. That certainly one way to heal colds or whatever medical things we might have is by proper diet. Now, obviously, if we have some huge medical issue, diet alone probably won't cure it, especially if it's very far advanced. But on the flip side, people have been known to heal even cancer by changing their diet. Anyway, you can look into this and see how far you want to take it. But the topic of this evening is keeping the body fit for God realization. And so this is one way that we can stay fit and stay healthy for God realization. I guess next, I will go into conservation of vital fluid. This is of sexual energy. Most people get very uncomfortable talking about this. Each person is where they are on this particular topic. And the first place to start with this is just accept yourself wherever you are. At the end of the spiritual path, we want to become perfectly controlled with this. But that is not an easy thing to do. And it is interrelated with what is going on within our mind, what is going on with the life force that is constantly moving up and down our body. And very interestingly, I hope many of you are Kriya here, what is going on with our breathing. And it's not possible to learn to control sexuality without learning to control the other three things that I mentioned. I'll reiterate them again. Energy or life force, mind, breath. These are all related with also controlling sexuality. And in fact, in my opinion, the best place to pick all of this up from is Kriya Yoga, which interrelates learning to control the physical breath and the energy within our spines. And if we can gain mastery over that, it will help us gain mastery over sexuality and help us gain mastery over the mind. If any one of these components, if the mind is constantly obsessed with any given thing, it's going to manifest then through our energy and then out into this material world. So if any one of these parts of this equation is off balance, it won't work. And slowly we have to learn to gain control. And so actually we have no idea what Master's given us with Kriya Yoga. It's a very powerful technique. This morning we listened to a talk of Swamiji. I don't know how many of you were there for the morning Kriya Bond meditation. But Swamiji was talking about energy, about bringing Kriya into all aspects of our lives and being aware of energy, not just in Kriya, but also out in our daily activities. And this is important also as we learn to control sexuality. If people want, at some point, I'm happy to give an entire class on this. It's an important part of the spiritual path. Again, it's one that we shouldn't now this is the thing, I have to do this and I only do this, and we lose all the rest of the learning to control ourselves or put the whole thing together. But it is an important part, an important path. And Swamiji has laid out something for us, and for actually, I really feel for this whole planet as a way that we can now approach this as adults in a realistic way for each person being where he or she is in regards to this topic. He's made the Nayaswami order, which gives people a place to say, yes, I want to dedicate my life fully to God, and this is where I am, and this is how I will go forward. And the planet needs just realistic dialogue on this, inspiration on this, and true spiritual understanding on this. That yes, the great masters are 100% celibate, and it is the goal that we all are striving for. But all of the spaces in between, how we do that, Master has given us really proper way. I'm 2 minutes over. Sorry, Premdas. You just go as long as you want. I'm going to hand it over to you now, and we'll keep going back and forth.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you all for joining again. I think we all know that we need to keep our body fit for God realization. There's no doubt about it. But how do we do it, and how will we inspire each other to do it? Is why we always come here with these satsangs. And I also would like to take this opportunity to also thank devotee here, who Captain Anil. He's Joy, who has been helping to get all the posters for this and also sharing on all the WhatsApp groups. And today I was just having a talk with him, and I said, is it really important, do you think, the body, keeping the body fit for God realization? And he said, yes, absolutely yes. He said from his own life, he has seen how his meditation improves by improving the physical exercises. So I think we all can, with our few whatever little experiences we have, we also have heard that how it's a balance between meditation and activity, and how only meditation can bring the mind a little duller, and how only activity can make our mind restless. So it's a balance between both. And so now I'll come back to that same chart which Master said about the ingredients of health. So I'm picking it up from fasting. So I joined monastery about 5 years or 4 years back, and even then and even now I have the senior monks who fast on Thursdays. They just take water. And also Master has said that how fasting helps to, you give this break or this rest for this system, so that it doesn't have to keep doing its work. And then how it can be with giving the small break, and how the body itself can do better each time. And after I've seen each time, I also started picking it up. So as you know, the reality, so wherever we are, we need to place there. So I usually fast for from morning till evening and have my dinner. And with fasting, the only some of the few tips that I can give you is also Masters recommended orange juice fast. If you don't want to go on entire water fast, just orange juice. And sometimes even if orange juice seems little harder, you can also have grounded almonds mixed with the almond juice, orange juice. And this really helps you to cleanse your system. Master has 3-day orange juice fast recommendation. Then there's also this 9-day fast, which he recommends. Many people in Ananda also do it once a year. So if you are still new and if you're still gathering, there's a lot more that Master has given all of us. So I think soon you'll be hearing in one of your WhatsApp groups, a 9-day fast is starting. Would you like to join us? Or a 3-day orange fast is starting. Say yes and give it a try. Try 1 or 2 days and you'll see the changes. And many times, one more thing that is helping is sometimes we start eating even when we are not hungry. And Master really suggests us that we eat only when we are hungry. So it's like a daily clock, eat after every 3 hours. But it's also when you feel hungry, when you eat it, you'll also cherish it. After each time fasting, I've seen people cherishing the food. And also when you break the fast, just know that you can break it with orange juice or something. So that way, you're not directly breaking the fast with some carbohydrate or big meal. You can start with orange juice and then slowly give it a break and then go into the next things. So these are my little things I've learned and from these teachings. Then what's the next thing? Okay, there is a proper exercise. I think we all know the importance of it. I think I think most of us work or we have a lot of responsibilities. And like Master said, after the school days are over, it's almost like bye-bye to the days of exercise. And only at least being on this path, we at least keep up the spirit by doing energization exercises daily. That was what was happening. But also I've realized that I think I'll read out something what Master said. This is also from Glowing Health and Vitality. Even that the beginning, the chart which we shared is also from the same book. So Master says, don't complain of stomach troubles, colds, or headaches. These are always the outcome of a faulty diet or lack of physical exercise. Perform some sort of exercise every day until perspiration breaks out over your whole body. Your colds and other similar ills will soon disappear. How important it is that this perspiration, this sweat, that if we can break, I think if you're already doing anything, I think for example, this summer, it's much more little more easier to break a sweat. I think most of you are from India. And so you all can agree how even like a 20-minute jog for youngsters, or maybe for some people who can walk longer, going for a walk, or if you have access to a swimming pool, or once a week. So one of these activities where you can break the sweat. And once you break the sweat, at least this will help us to get away with the sinuses or colds and all these things. So I think exercise, wherever we are, if we are able to do it from whichever level we are, if somebody is doing already for 2 days, we can increase it. And also at the end of the session, we'll again re-emphasize on activity that we can pick up for this coming week. I'll tell you that later. And one more thing is, the topic is fresh air and sun baths. How important it is. Yeah, I think Jamalji has an air purifier in his room sometimes, or a small machine it was. I was curious what that machine was. We used to stay, and during winters when people used to burn all the woods, the machine used to show all red, orange, all these colors. I was like, what's happening? What is he checking on? Then I realized air quality, sometimes how bad it can get sometimes, and how important it is to get some fresh air, and how important it is sometimes to keep your windows open, run the exhaust, or allow that fresh air to come in. Or you yourself go out for also the walks, and wherever you can on the rooftop, or wherever, whatever place we are in, trying to get this fresh air. And also the sun baths. Master highly recommended this. So I think one of the good times is early morning when the sun is rising and a little bit and not too bright, and otherwise at evening suns. So morning sun is highly recommended. So even you can energize if there is a place somewhere in your house where you can expose most of your skin to the sunlight, and you can energize for 10-15 minutes, soak it in. And also I have seen Dr. Aditya. Once we had a session in Gurgaon, and he took all the people during this glowing health and vitality session, he took them out and he just made few exercises. And one of them was just opening your tongue like this to the sun. He said this is also in one of the books, where it will help you to allow the rays to go to your mouth, throat, and clear out all these things. So the sun can have this, it's such a force, and it can really vitalize and cleanse our system. And one more point here is I'll slightly touch on, which you all know, which I'm already seeing all of you being cheerful, and this thing, the good thoughts and cheerfulness. So, and Master also says I think I read it today itself, that many times as we age, we somehow stop doing new things. And if we somehow can try to find out new things to do, or new hobbies, even as you keep aging, if you keep your mind fresh, you see all the secrets of all these people who are like 100 years old or 110 years old. You just see them, they're all bright, cheerful, and many of the secrets is they keep learning new things. They're childlike, and just that attitude of this. And also Haridas ji from Bangalore, sometimes I get to hear him. He starts tying his shoelace in a different way. He was telling me that this is the one new thing he's trying to do today. Like every day he tries to like find a new thing to do, like maybe locking the door with your left hand one day, or maybe you can find some cool things to do, and you can keep your life cheerful. And that way we can all be ageless. In a way, we are all ageless, like Master and Saints tell, but we have to now start realizing it with our cheerful and even-minded attitude. And I think now I'll just pass it back to Jamalji, and he'll listen.
Premdas, that was fun. So keeping the body fit for God realization, obviously that if a physical body part is paining very much, it's difficult to sit straight and sit still and not let your mind go there. So that's one reason that we want to keep our body fit, so that we can meditate more deeply. But also we will learn certain subtle things as we exercise and as we become more aware of our body. I want us all to do something right now to just demonstrate that, learn that. So go ahead and close off your right nostril and inhale through your left nostril. And whenever then you can exhale through it. and then switch, close off the left nostril and inhale through the right. And exhale whenever you're ready. Great. So you probably feel that one is more dominant than the other. Whichever one is flowing more easily, let's say the left nostril is more open and flowing easily, that means energy is flowing more easily in your irda, this subtle channel on the left. And if energy is flowing more easily in the right, then energy is flowing more easily in the pingala. As yogis, we're trying to learn to balance these two flows. But interestingly, we don't balance these by just doing nothing. We practice Kriya usually first and get high energy moving in the spine. And we become aware of all of this also by doing physical exercise and by keeping the body fit for God realization. So gaining an understanding of energy will not only happen by meditation, but also as we are exercising. Another point that I'm supposed to talk about is by calm meditation is a way that we can keep the body healthy and fit. And it seems like, wait, well, first I'll go do the physical exercise and I'll get my body fit, and then I'll do something that's more about calming the mind and calming the energy. But also, if we're thinking thoughts that are, I am healthy, I'm positive, energetic, enthusiastic all of the time, that is going to translate then into a healthy physical body. And of course, the reverse is also true. It's good for us to watch our thoughts throughout the day. That corresponds with Hong Sa, that as we learn to practice Hong Sa and not let the mind run away, and we become aware of what all of our thoughts are, we bring that back into our daily life, and we make sure that we are having positive thoughts. Swamiji has given the super conscious living exercises, and when they first came out, a little bit of troubles were happening in couples within Ananda, because one person, maybe the husband or the wife, would jump out of bed in the morning and say, I am positive, energetic, enthusiastic. And the other person, can we please sleep now? Can we do this a little bit later? And when I heard that, I actually understood, wow, the people who were jumping out of bed, that's great. They were programming their subconscious mind with positive thoughts right away. And it inspired me to want to pay attention. What am I thinking about as soon as I wake up? And obviously pay attention to what I'm thinking about throughout the course of the day. So all of these things are interrelated, but it is important for us to find periods of calmness where we feel a sense that time is not there, and just a sense of relaxation. Of course, not downward subconscious relaxation, but upward superconscious relaxation, where we just feel a sense of freedom from it all. And that it's almost like if we eat a lot, we need to take a break from that. We talked about fasting today. If we do a lot of mental work, we need to take a break from that. That we need to give all parts of our being a break, and that can happen, even our mind, as we go deep into meditation and realize we are the changeless soul. So don't neglect the part of the fact that meditation will actually also help you have a strong physical body. This is an interesting thing that I'm supposed to talk about, and that is proper elimination. Obviously, within our physical body, there are ways, there's certain foods that we can eat. Master actually spoke about taking laxatives. If you're going to do long fasts, to make sure that all food is not just staying there, fine, make sure that we have proper elimination. That can be a source of illness. Here's something you might not know, which is that the human body also removes a lot of toxins every day by perspiration, by sweating. So when Premdas was saying that perform some sort of exercise every day until perspiration breaks out, it's another way of keeping the body healthy, because it's a way that the body releases toxins. And yeah, our planet is all messed up and there's all kinds of toxins probably when we just go outside. But even beyond that, even in a perfectly healthy, normal environment, that the body has to release carbon, it has to release nitrogen. I don't know the exact chemistry and I'm not going to get into all of that, but I know that the body utilizes nitrogen in order to build cells, and it utilizes carbon in order to provide energy and heat for working muscles and the brain and everything. But in that process then, there are waste products from that. Like we all know that when we breathe out, we're breathing out carbon dioxide, but that has to leave. And so the body has many different channels for getting rid of all of these different waste products that are produced as a part of normal life. And so having fresh air, perspiring every day, taking a bath and really rubbing the skin cells so that we can have good perspiration and keep all of these cells healthy and happy, it's an important thing. I'm going to turn it back over to Premdas on that note, and he can give you the exercise or whatever you're supposed to do for the next week.
Thank you very much. So, okay, now it's time for our activity for this week. So this is again a directional thing, because this, if you're already not breaking a sweat at least once a week, I would suggest that this week, let's all try to break a sweat. I think let's go for a jog, run, or whatever you think is appropriate there in your surroundings, and break a sweat this week, so that next week when we come, we are much more healthy or cheerful, vitalized. And if you're already breaking one sweat, maybe make it 2. If you're already making it 3, make it 4, but otherwise it's still good if you're already doing that. So that's our simple exercise for this coming week, and we'll again cover on the same topic next week again with so but thank you very much.